I love talking about mortgages. What a lot of people fail to recognize is that when they start to look to buy a property, there's usually a starting point and an ending point to buying or selling a property.
Yep.
But what people don't recognize is that the mortgage stays with you throughout the journey. And the way you cater that or structure that mortgage is going to affect you for the lifetime of that mortgage. And it really is a significant part to buying and selling real estate. So there's been a number of changes, Dan, just in the last couple of months to the mortgage industry. And I think these changes are going to have some significant impact on various consumers. So let's kind of review the changes first to start. So the first one that I wanted to talk about is that there's been an increase in the limit from $1 million to $1.5 million in the down payment options that are available to you. Can you talk about that change that's occurred and who you think is going to be the biggest beneficiary of that?
Yeah, definitely. So previously, when you were buying a property and you had less than 20% down, there's mortgage insurance that comes into play. Mortgage insurance is who insures the bank's money in case of default. So when you're buying at less than 20% down, it doesn't matter what bank you go to because they all have to get mortgage insurance in a sense that the mortgage insurer is the one making the rules. Well, the mortgage insurer had a rule that if you were buying at a purchase price over $999,999.99, you could not get CMHC insurance on that property. So buyers who were buying with less than 20% down were limited to under $1 million. So CMHC's come out and they've extended that. They've come out and they've said, we are now going to allow purchasers to purchase up to $1.5 million and will insure mortgages based on the minimum down payment. The minimum down payment these days is you can put 5% down on the first $500,000 and then you have to put 10% down on the amount above that. So if you just do the math quickly on a purchase of $1.5 million, if you have $125,000, you can now purchase that property and get insurance through CMHC. Now, there's a caveat, it's difficult to qualify for that. Generally these days people qualify for maybe 5 times their income, if you're buying at 5 or 10% down. So you have to have strong income to qualify for this program. So who's it going to affect the most? Well, listen, you're looking in, high populated areas, Toronto, big city type places where the property values are probably pretty high, where you're looking at people that have strong income. I mean, that's really who it's going to affect the most. There's not a lot of first-time home buyers buying over that price range, right? So that I don't know that particular rule is there to help the first-time home buyers. It might, but there's not many buying at that price. So that's it. They basically jumped from the $999,999.99 up to $1.5 million.
So basically, a first-time buyer can get into the market if they have strong income, obviously, and not have to come up with a $200,000 deposit, let's say on $1 million plus property, and the down payment would be reduced significantly down to, let's say, the 125 range.
Yeah, and this isn't even limited to just first-time home buyers. I was pointing that out more of a segment that I don't think it's going to affect much. It's probably going to affect more resale sellers. But this is available to all buyers if you're buying with less than 20% down. A lot of people think that buying with 5 or 10% down is tied to first-time home buyers alone, and it's not. You just have to be buying an owner-occupied home to be buying at 5 or 10% down. It could be your second or third owner-occupied home.
Yeah, and that point is very important to point out for sure. Working in the real estate industry in the Toronto market for the past 30 years, I know that segment between 1 and 1.5, especially here in Toronto, is a pretty high producing area where a lot of the activity takes place. So I do see that having some significant changes. A lot of times buyers or people think that if a program helps first time buyers and you're maybe somebody who is an empty nester, it's not going to help you. But you have to realize that the real estate process starts at the first-time buyer end and affects everybody up the food chain.
Yeah.
Because if the first-time buyers aren't buying those move-up properties, then those move-up buyers are not buying the luxury homes that might be for sale. So all of these changes have significant impacts for sure.